transportation is ready for this need. And the items usually will be delivered far away from warehouses or hubs from city and required a longer further distance and time. Traffic is building up on major roads, and what about the carbon emissions this will produce? So with it comes the need for vertiports. Vertiports, the infrastructure of UIS, unmanned aircraft systems, to take off and land. Leveraging the Skyport's global experience, the presentation shares three important aspects of vertiport development: safety and regulatory compliance, sustainability, and scalability. We hope to inspire architects and developers alike to come on board the journey to shape the infrastructure for future urban delivery capabilities. So, in a while, let's take a look on how UIS and vertiports can address these issues and what is required to be ready for future cities. So let's welcome Captain Ling for today's topics. Let's give Captain Ling a big round of applause.
Hello. Yep. Okay. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys have had a good lunch. If not, after this you can go for lunch. After this, lah. Yeah. Okay. First of all, welcome to ARCHIDEX 2022. My name is Ling. As introduced, most people call me Captain Ling. Actually, my team are there. Probably be wondering why is this pilot talking about future of last mile delivery. So that's the whole idea of why we are here today. So to start off with, as what they have mentioned, I've been in the aviation industry for a while. So what has happened that basically anything that flies interests us. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with ordering something to eat, ordering something to deliver to your house by now, especially after the past 2 years of pandemic. So did I. I never ordered anything before pandemic actually. So I had to go and download apps and learn how to do this. And therefore also, actually in Capital A, or those days we call Asia Group, we also venture into deliveries business. So we have our delivery arm, Teleport, deliver food, items, groceries for that matter. So of course, same as any other company, we use riders, drivers. And so therefore one day someone raised his hand and say, you know what, using riders and drivers, they still need to drive and ride on the road. Of course, during pandemic, the road traffic were good, but that does poses a certain amount of safety risks. So question was asked, how can we make this safer, quicker or better for that matter? So therefore, we came up with the idea. Actually, it's not new. You can see in the news, in the YouTube, other countries also started doing similar things as well. So therefore, we also embark on the delivery using UAS or using drones. So as we mentioned, especially now, in the last few months, ever since our border has been open, I'm sure you've experiencing this as well. I spoke to quite a few people in the past few weeks. On average, everyone spends about an hour to go to work and spends another hour to come back from work. That is 2 hours of our life gone every day. And plus, because we don't want to get stuck in the traffic so much, most people leave house early and most people come home late to avoid the traffic. So you end up spending longer and longer time, more and more time in the traffic. So like what the news say, not just Kuala Lumpur, I'm sure you guys are familiar or know that places like Bangkok, Manila, and Jakarta also very heavily congested area as well. So traffic is definitely building up. So which brings us to the next topic, next item, that because we are so used to taking out our phone and ordering food and ordering whatever we need to deliver, whatever items we want it, and we generally expect it to come in what, 30 minutes? And how many of you actually have experienced that A, your item come late, your food come late, 3, after waited 1 hour, then you saw a notification, your phone to say that your delivery has been cancelled. So next slide, yeah. So it is also emerging problems, not just in Malaysia, in many countries as well. Even in India also, we are facing the same problem, even in the States, in European country as well. One reason because we rely on gig workers to do deliveries in most part of the world, in most country. Therefore, it is becoming issue. And also when pandemic coming to the end, endemicity, people generally go back to their previous job, or they found new job, go back to their day-to-day work. Therefore, they leave the delivery business as left a hole there. And it's not easy to fill up these holes, especially in Malaysia. Generally, anyone know how much a delivery man makes a day on a motorbike? Yeah. So in general, each delivery averagely costs about 5 ringgit. In actual fact, most companies actually have to subsidize because they have to make it affordable. So in fact, most companies actually sort of running a little bit of a loss for each delivery they make. But of course, there are different economics in different countries. But because we rely on gig workers, and when they go back to their day job and go back to the other job, it kind of creates a bit of a hollow. Therefore, delivery gets delayed. Especially, I'm sure you experienced this in the early last month. Even I ordered pizza for my kids, never came. Someday even tell you, sorry, delivery is not available today for Domino's. Can you believe it? You're like, okay. So it is a problem. So what can we do? So therefore, we feel that we have to evolve. We have to move forward from this. Yeah. So I would like to show you a short video that something we have done last year together with MOSTI, with then Dato KJ, the Minister of Ministry and Science. Yep. This happened actually last year in March, whereby we actually did proof of concept of how delivery can happen.
The collaboration between NTIS and Asia today is to develop a third drone sandbox in Malaysia, specifically focusing on delivery drones. This is the first drone delivery in Malaysia using extended visual line of sight.
Drones have the potential for instant gratification. You imagine a scenario that you order something at your home on AirAsia Super App, and 20 minutes later it's arriving in front of your house.
Before this, we've restricted it to largely agricultural use cases, but now with drone deliveries, you've opened up a new sector for drones to come into, last mile delivery for consumer items. So you can imagine the use case for this is not just your food or your usual deliveries, but also deliveries to places where it's difficult to access, deliveries into interior areas, rural areas, deliveries of medicine in flood-hit areas. And today we flew a payload of about 2 kilograms, t-shirts, through over 5-kilometer distance for delivery here in the Obama Oval in Magic.
And I do believe, having talked to the regulators and looking at the drive and the energy of Magic, and obviously AirAsia, we're really aggressive. I think it's a great partnership, and I think Malaysia could lead the way in drone delivery, and that will transform e-commerce. And with transformation of e-commerce, we'll get a lot more new entrepreneurs. And that's what I'm driving at.
So this is one of our proof of concept that we actually did the delivery in Cyberjaya. So because that was last year, so a lot of restrictions applied. So it was a short flight, but we successfully made it happen together with the help of the regulators and the ministry. So this happened in Malaysia last year during the pandemic. So I'm going to show you next is what is actually happening now in China. Yep. The next slide. The next one. Yep, this one. Yep. So this is one of the company in China. They have been doing this for a while already. Yeah, so this is in China. So basically, you can order your boba tea, and you don't have to go to the alley or the Black Whale anymore, or chat time. They can actually deliver to your house. Yeah. The next one, please. Yeah. So I'm just going to show you another example of how instead of just food, this is the initial part looks similar, but towards the end you will see a slightly different use cases. Yeah. This is by a company Yihang, quite popular in China. Yeah. So slightly different use cases. I'm sure you guys, I have been seeing a lot of food trucks around nowadays. So it's getting popular. So instead of going to somewhere, a drive-through order to pick up, or with the problem with no delivery riders or drivers available, food trucks are getting more popular. So similarly, these drones can also deliver to a food truck for whatever item, or from the food truck itself. Yeah. Yeah. So there's just one more last one video. Bear with me for a while. This is even more out of my mind when I first saw it, but just to let you know, it is available. Yeah. This actually take off and land right in front of your balcony. When I first saw this, I was like, wow. So you see, so that's why this whole topic and this theme is all about the future city. So in future, we don't really need to rely on the rider or the driver to deliver items to our house. It can be delivered to you using drones, something like flying. Well, sometimes it seems a little bit futuristic, but it is happening and it is available. The technology definitely exists, so it is available now. So next, sorry. So just to give you an example, this is one of the use cases that we have done actually in Sarawak. So if you were to travel by road, it will take you 2.5 hours to deliver the item from Kuching to one of the clinic in Clinic Kesehatan, which is actually not really far away. Whereas if you use the drone, you only need 30 minutes. Whereas on the road, you will take almost 3 hours to get there. So it definitely can save a lot of time. Just imagine there's a sudden urgent need of some blood or some medication, so it can be done very, very quickly. It can save time and at the same time it saves lives as well. Next. Yeah. So what do we need? So the main thing, what we're trying to say is that this requires certain infrastructure. It requires our commitment. We have to think ahead a little bit. Although buildings now what we have is good and infrastructures that we have now, but there are things that we can still do. There are things we can still invest in. We can still to move forward from landing pads to even the small little structure in the balcony. These are the things that we can move forward to make the future city really a much more enjoyable, livable future city that we have. So on the next slide, this is one of the partners that are working together with us, Skyport. In fact, the representative is here as well. Do come by our booth and speak to him. So Skyport is one of our partners. So you can see this little illustration. These are actually drone pads. Drones can park there, can land. For it, your drone requires charging or requires changing of battery. It is available. And it can be just a little hub. It's just like those Lalamove or Shopee or teleport hubs in the city. It can be there. So items can come in a bigger load and then transfer into a smaller load and then distribute out to your house, to your last mile delivery. So you don't have to really wait for the rider to come and ring a doorbell anymore. The drone can actually come and automatically deliver an item to your house. In fact, we have been talking to some of our partners to develop some of the infrastructure you've seen earlier, where else a drone will fly. Imagine you live in a condominium, it comes on top of a building, there's a vertiport there, it will automatically come drop the item into the box to your unit. When you come back from work or after your exercise from the gym, just go up there, scan the QR code, retrieve your item, for it be your lunch, your documents, your whatever item it is. So the technology exists. It's up to us now whether we want to pursue this. And trust me, it may seem a little bit far-fetched, it may seem a little bit costly, but the cost will come down, and eventually this is the way forward. I have this strong belief that, like it or not, that is coming, the future is coming. Is whether how quickly, how soon we want to start embracing it only. So just to share a little bit of statistics, if some of you may wonder, okay, what is my return investment? How big is the business? So, well, for magazine company, is $1 billion industry, is $1 billion economy, which in short, like what the Malaysian Chinaman say, the money is there. It's up to you to make it. So this is definitely an industry forward, and especially to enabling a future city. So by all means, do come by our booth, speak to us, and let us share some of this vision together. Yep. All right, that's it. Thank you very much. That's all for my little sharing this afternoon. If anyone has any question, by all means. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Captain Ling, for the presentation. So is there any questions from the audience? It's free, anything. You can, even a small discussion, a simple questions, probably for me. So I see that the drone is very efficient for us to deliver things and deliver anything. So I think one of the obstacles is the bad weather. If there is a bad weather along the way, do the drones continue the trip or they just stop?
Yeah, so weather definitely is a major consideration in this kind of operations. So very similar to a rider or a driver, maybe not so bad, but most of the time, whenever there's heavy rain or rain, sometimes your Grab food don't get delivered. Sometimes the item, the guy will call you from Lalamo because it's raining, so I have to wait for a while. So similarly with drones, depending on the type of equipment used and size and the sophistication in the equipment, there are some that can fly through weather, but to also protect your nasi lemak and also your boba tea, we prefer currently Either the item, it can be stored in a place that is completely waterproof, so that your food will come still presentable, your curry mee still look like curry mee, or your item won't get damaged along the way. Otherwise, depending on the equipment, some yes can weather through to a certain amount of rain and wind, but some more basic one, then probably won't fly during bad weather period lah. Yeah. Of course, I didn't mention earlier, safety of course is definitely priority, not just for the safety of the item, safety of the drone, and also safety for the people on ground as well. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Captain Ling, for the answer. Is there any more questions from the audience in here? It's okay. It's a simple discussion or simple questions. It's fine. So, is there any questions? So, okay. Thank you so much for the presentation, Captain Ling. Probably we will see the booth right beside us, the Capital A Air Asia drone. So probably we can give Captain Ling a big round of applause for the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Anyone wants to know more of, by all means, just drop by our booth here. Just right in front here, can speak to any one of us. Thank you.